trillion naira at the end of December 2019.
Senior Democrats have responded by accusing him of committing a gross offense.
The All Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor, Ibikunle Amosu.
Welcome to Celebration Television News Desk. I am Nicholas Akosile. Here is the headlines of news making rounds. Nigerian federal government told to review VAT to reflect current realities. Malawi confirms 3 coronavirus cases and 58th African country infected. COVID-19 confirmed global cases pass 1 million foreign reserves shared $3.02 billion in 3 months. We don't know when football will resume, says FIFA. Please stay with us as we bring you details of that news. Welcome back and thanks for joining us once again. Now the news in details. The federal government has been urged to consider a downward review of the value-added tax or outright suspension in the meantime to reflect the current realities caused by COVID-19 pandemic. A group under the aegis of the Nigerian Tax Justice and Governance Platform made the call on Thursday in a statement in Ibadan and signed by its coordinator Chinedu Bassey. The statement said following the adverse effect of COVID-19 on the socio-economic activities, the Nigeria Tax Justice and Governance Platform reaffirms its solidarity with the government and people as they go through these trying times together. There should be inclusion of civil society actors in the various COVID-19 task forces across board to strengthen transparency, accountability and diversity in the process. There must be decentralization of the task forces to meet geopolitical needs. Moving forward, Nigerian government finds 3,550 contacts concerned as cases reach 190. The federal government on Thursday said it had succeeded in tracing 3,550 people who came in contact with patients infected with COVID-19 in the country. The Director General of the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, Dr. Chikwe Ihekwezu, who disclosed this at a press conference organized in Abuja by the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, said the 3,550 people were being monitored for symptoms of coronavirus. The NCDC said this as there were concerns in the country over the rise in COVID-19 cases, which increased to 190 on Thursday. In Osun State, residents of Ejigbo, where 6 Côte d'Ivoire returnees tested positive, stayed indoors for fear of contracting the virus. But in Abuja, the NCDC assured Nigerians that the federal government was fighting the virus. Ihekwezu said, or had at a press conference on Tuesday, said government was searching for 5,000 people who came in contact with COVID-19 positive patients. The Director General, who said there was an urgent need to get such people and prevent community transmission of the virus, said many of the contracts came from abroad and gave wrong phone numbers and addresses on the flights they boarded. On Thursday, Ihekwezu was asked the extent government had gone in tracing the contacts following the 2 weeks lockdown the President Muhammadu Buhari ordered in the Federal Capital Territory, Lagos and Ogun states. On other stories, Osun State of Nigeria threatens jail term for fake news. The governor of Osun State, Mr. Agboyega Oyetola, on Thursday signed the Osun Infectious Diseases Regulation 2020 as part of efforts to combat the COVID-19 pandemic. The legislation gives legal backing to the sit-at-home order of the government to check the spread of the virus. It prescribes 6 months imprisonment or a fine for anyone who violates the sit-at-home order, according to a statement on Thursday. Also, anyone who peddles fake news as regards COVID-19 risk being jailed for 6 months or fined. Oyetola said he signed the legislation in exercise of the powers conferred on him by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, and the relevant provisions of the State of Osun Public Health Law. The statement said under the law, transmission or dissemination of false information regarding COVID-19 is also an offense and attracts the same punishment just as the promotion of unverified, untested, or unapproved cures, vaccines, or similar attempts that purport to cure, alleviate, and reduce instances of persons infected with COVID-19 also constitute an offense, and offenders upon conviction will be liable to 6 months imprisonment or an option of fine. Coming from around Africa, Malawi confirms 3 coronavirus cases, happens to be the 50th African country infected. Malawi President Peter Mutharika on Thursday confirmed that the country had recorded 3 cases of COVID-19. They are the first recorded cases in the southern African country. Local news outlets reports that the president made the announcement in a special address to the nation. The address carried by the state-owned NBC TV lasted 1 minute and 23 seconds. The president disclosed that all 3 cases were confirmed in Lilongwe, Mutharika. Mutharika said one of the patients is a 63-year-old who had recently traveled to India. The other 2 are her relation and her domestic worker. A week ago, Mutharika declared a state of national disaster over the pandemic, which continues to spread across the continent, and with Malawi officially becoming the 50th African country to be infected. There are 4 countries uninfected: Lesotho, Comoros, South Sudan, and Sao Tome and Principe. Still coming from around Africa, Tigray first to get regional testing center across Ethiopia. Northern Tigray region has become the first regional state in Ethiopia to have a COVID-19 testing lab. This development comes at a time when the state has no confirmed case of the coronavirus pandemic. Reports indicate that the medical facilities, as a result of cooperation between Mekelle University and the Tigray Health Bureau and Tigray Health Research Institute. The lab started work on April 1st in presence of Region's Vice President Debretsion Gebre Michael. President of the university noted that the institution had the support of the Ethiopia Public Health Institute, the Federal Ministry of Health, and the Ministry of Science and Higher Education. This is the second lead since Ethiopia recorded a case last month. Tigray declared a state of emergency and near lockdown days before other states followed suit. Ethiopia currently has 29 confirmed cases of the virus, according to the Ministry of Health. Government has shut all land borders except for essential imports coming in. Cases have been recorded in capital Addis Ababa, Oromia, and Amara regional states, and in Deri Dawa, a chartered city. We'll go on a break right now. When we'll come back, we'll take you straight to news coming from around the world. Stay with us.
Welcome to News Desk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femi Marks.
Ruth Obozegin.
And the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details.
Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining, and inspiring news on Celebration TV News Desk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT plus 1. That is 11 a.m. GMT plus 1 on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV News. Fellowship with the Holy Spirit. venture into new dimensions as you connect to the daily expository teachings on the Holy Spirit with Apostle Johnson Suleiman, commencing this Sunday, 5th April 2020 by 4 p.m. daily, live on Celebration TV and all our social media platforms. Experience the reality of the Holy Spirit.
Welcome to News Desk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femi Marks.
And the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring the details.
Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining and inspiring news on Celebration TV News Desk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT plus 1. That is 11 a.m. GMT plus 1 on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV News Desk. The whole truth.
Thanks for staying with us. Welcome back. Updates from around the world. COVID-19 confirmed global cases pass 1 million. More than 1 million cases of coronavirus have been registered globally, according to the latest figures from Johns Hopkins University. Another grim milestone as the world grapples with the spreading pandemic. Nearly 53,000 people have died and more than 210,000 have recovered, according to the U.S. university's figure. The U.S. has the most cases and more than 1,000 died there in the past day. The disease, COVID-19, first emerged in central China 3 months ago, though the tally kept by Johns Hopkins records 1 million confirmed cases. The actual number is thought to be much higher. It took a month and a half for the first 100,000 cases to be registered. 1 million was reached after a doubling in cases over the past weeks. Nearly a quarter of cases have been registered in the United States, while Europe accounts for around half. The pandemic is taking a huge economic toll. An extra 6.6 million Americans applied for unemployment benefits last week. More updates from the U.S. Democrats to delay crowning presidential nominee. Democrats have been forced to delay naming their nominees to face Donald Trump in the November presidential election amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Citing an unprecedented health crisis, officials said the Democratic National Convention, where the party nominees officially elected, will be moved back a month. Former Vice President Joe Biden is currently the front runner. The convention expected to cement his nomination will take place in August. Mr. Biden and other Democratic officials had in recent weeks called for delaying the program originally scheduled to begin 13th July. The DNC will now take place the week of 17th August in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, a Midwestern state that has never hosted a national convention before and is expected to be a key battleground in the general election. Tom Perez, DNC chairman, said the health and safety of our convention attendees and the people of Milwaukee is their top priority. Several states have also delayed holding primary contests, the races that determine how nomination votes are cast at the DNC. Coming up next is business news. Foreign reserves shared $3.02 billion in 3 months. The country's foreign reserve have continued its downward trend, dropping by $3.02 billion from $38.53 billion on January 2nd, 2020 to $35.51 billion as of March 27th, 2020. Latest statistics from the Central Bank of Nigeria have revealed. According to the figures, the reserves dropped from $39.8 billion on November 11, 2019 to $39.24 billion on December 13, 2019. This is after the fall by $1.26 billion from $41.76 billion on October 2nd to $40.5 billion as of the end of October. The reserves dropped by $482.18 million from 45.14 billion naira as of July 8 to 44.65 billion naira in August 8, 2019. The Central Bank of Nigeria stated in its communique at its recent Monetary Policy Committee meeting that available data on key macroeconomic variables indicated the likelihood of subdued output growth for the Nigerian economy in 2020. It stated that based on the current downturn in oil prices, staff projections indicated that output in 2020 will be less than earlier envisaged. The committee noted the weakened revenue position of the federal government arising from the sharp drop in oil price. It reiterated the need for government to urgently reduce reliance on oil revenue by gradually diversifying the economy and improving its tax collection. To this end, the MPC noted the speedy response of the federal government to the oil price shock with the revision of the 2020 budget downwards. It was reduced by 1.5 million naira and the oil price benchmark dropped from $57 to $30 per barrel. And still on business, emergency business loan scheme revamped after criticism. The emergency loan scheme for businesses struggling to survive amid the coronavirus pandemic has been revamped following strong criticism. The Treasury said it had received more than 130,000 loan inquiries from firms, but fewer than 1,000 had been approved. Business Secretary Aloko Sharma said the changes to the scheme will make it easier for firms to access loans. Chancellor Rishi Sunak will speak to the banks which have been accused of taking advantage of the crisis. The changes to the business interruption loan scheme will mean more businesses are able to access financial support during the lockdown previously. Of course, previously, government-backed loans for small businesses were only available to firms that had been turned down for a commercial loan from the bank. That saw businesses being asked to pay interest rate of as much as 30%. Following the changes to the scheme, applications will not be limited to businesses that have been refused a loan on commercial terms. However, the Treasury did not put in place restrictions on the interest rate that banks can charge for loans. We'll go on a short break right now. When we come back, we'll bring you sport news. Stay with us.
Welcome to News Desk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femi Mark.
And the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details.
Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining and inspiring news on Celebration TV News Desk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT+1, that is 11 a.m. GMT+1 on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV News Desk, the whole truth. Fellowship with the Holy Spirit. Venture into new dimensions as you connect to the daily expository teachings on the Holy Spirit with Apostle Johnson Suleiman. Commencing this Sunday, 5th April 2020 by 4 p.m. daily. Live on Celebration TV and all our social media platforms. Experience the reality of the Holy Spirit.
Welcome to News Desk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femi Mark.
And the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details.
Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining and inspiring news on Celebration TV News Desk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT plus 1. That is 11 a.m. GMT plus 1 on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV News Desk. The whole truth.
Welcome to Sports News. We don't know when football will resume, says FIFA. FIFA boss Gianni Infantino admitted Thursday that nobody knows when football can resume around the world and that when it returned, it was going to be different. He said that because of a deadly coronavirus pandemic, for once football is not the most important thing. He said they all wish that they would have football tomorrow, but unfortunately it's not possible and nobody in the world today knows when they will be able to play like before. Like most other sports, football across the world has been largely halted by the pandemic, which to date has infected nearly 1 million people and killed more than 47,000. In another sports news, Wimbledon chief fears no more tennis this year. Wimbledon chief Richard Lewis admitted on Thursday that he feared the remainder of the 2020 tennis season could be wiped out. Tennis has been in lockdown since early last month and is not scheduled to return until July 13th at the earliest, following the cancellation of Wimbledon for the first time since World War II on Wednesday. The decision to ask the sport's oldest and most prestigious Grand Slam event due to the coronavirus pandemic followed the French Open's unilateral switch from its traditional May-June slot to September-October. The double body blow resulted in the entire clay court and grass court seasons being abandoned. Lewis said that despite his fears, he hoped that the season's next Grand Slam, the US Open in the August-September, could take place. And that's brought us to the end of the news on Celebration Television News Desk. In case you missed out, here's the headline. The recap of the headlines right here. Nigerian federal government told to review VAT to reflect current realities. Malawi confirms 3 coronavirus cases. 50th African country infected. COVID-19 confirmed. Global cases pass 1 million. Foreign reserves shed $3.03 billion in 3 months. We don't know when football will resume, says FIFA. And quickly, we have photo of the day. And on photo of the day, we have human beings in 2019 and human in 2020. What comes around actually goes what? Now, I would like you to interpret that and send your comments, your own opinion concerning this photo of the day to us. On our Facebook, we have Celebration TV. On Instagram, we have My Celebration TV. Twitter, at My Celebration TV. YouTube, www.youtube.com/Celebration TV. Of course, we always leave you with a word that keeps you going, that the continuous transformation of our society is a collective responsibility of all. No matter the office you hold today as an individual, as a nation's president, a thought leader, an opinion molder, a character builder, a professional, or as a person pursuing passion, you have a duty to give your all to making the society a better place for us and the generations to come. So this is the best time to play your part and do it with all diligence. Thank you once again for staying with me on our news desk. I remain Nicholas Akosile. Remain blessed.